Good afternoon from a not quite circuit here this afternoon for race 2, round 1 of the 2026 Italian F4 Championship, presented by WSK Promotion together with the Automobile Club of Italy. Yes, a record-breaking 48 cars on the grid. It was Luca Samalisto who took pole position yesterday, 24 hours ago in qualifying. He'll start from pole for the second of 4 races here this weekend. We have split the groups. Thus is the strength of the Italian F4 Championship. 48 drivers from 28 nations around the world for the 13th season of the world's most competitive junior racing series. Well, if you're just joining us, Nicola Marcagnani took the race victory this morning after Al Baxoy. He started from pole position, but was given a post-race penalty as little as just 45 minutes ago for a technical infringement on the grid, and Marcagnani has lost the victory this morning, which hands the first race of the new season to Al Baxoy. There's the Turk to the left of your screen. Not only took the rookie race win, but also now inherits the race victory for race 1 this morning. 30 cars on the grid, 48 entries. It is a record for the Italian Formula 4 Championship. Just 7 Italians in the National Series. Riccardo Patrese joined us this morning, 6-time Formula 1 Grand Prix winner and Formula 3 Italian champion way back in 1976. He spoke to Laura Cola and correctly pointed out, yes, it's the Italian National Series, but in effect, it is a de facto World Championship. The drivers from Finland and Turkey on the front row of the grid on your screen. This is the grid for the second of 4 races this weekend. Luca Samalisto took pole position last night by an incredible, unheard of 0.3 of a second. Al Baxoy, race winner this morning, starting ahead of his Romanian teammate David Cosma Christopher, and Ed Robinson on the second row of the grid. David Walter qualified P4 in his group last night for the Macchi Racing Team. Ludovico Busso, Alexander Bondarev, and the Australian last year's national AU4 champion Noah Killion out of grid 8. Ian Kralik, who had a great race this morning. Kenzo Craigie was quick but had an incident towards the dying stages. Oscar Repetto, the Italian New Zealander from Monaco, is alongside Bader Al Salati, who stormed home to P5 this morning. Pedro Lima do Brasil, Andre Rodriguez from Colorado in the United States of America, Thomas Behrman, Alex Ruta, Rafa Ferreira, Amenina do Brasil, Dominic Schimek for Trident Motorsport, Nicolas Cortez, and Augustus Toniolo for the new Trident Motorsport team. One of 5 Brazilian drivers here this weekend, starting out of grid 20. The Italian-born Costa Rican Evan Michelini, and then it is the second New Zealander in the field, Emily Cotti, Peyton Westcott, racing in the F1 Academy Series, alongside his Georgi Zashoff, Lubo Roykov, Vittorio Orsini, Bernardo Bernaldi, who had a good recovery this morning, Diego Pallottini for the Alpha 54 team, Tanaka Genda, Fogaccia Fabrizio.
Today is the day. Ads. I did not get a single ad in race 1, and I get 2 ads now. Yay.
In Ginebra, Panzeri for the PA Racing Team, formerly known as AS Motorsport. She starts on the final row of the grid. So the field set off on the formation lap. Lucas Samalisto incredibly stormed around the circuit to take pole position. As you look at Al Baxor go through in car 10, 135.492, unheard of. He took pole position by almost 0.3 of a second. In Formula 4, it was an outstanding lap without the slipstream. As you look at the Australian champion, Noah Killian, go through. Car 13, racing for AGI Sport. The team over Adam Gosch, who's doing a sterling job at running the AU4 Championship, which Noah won his national series in 2025, makes his debut in the Italian series. Has been quick this weekend and in pre-season testing, starting on the outside fourth row of the grid for the team of Gerhard Unger and Ralf Schumacher in car 13. Beautiful sunshine this morning. It is still bright here this afternoon, but there is a threat of rain tomorrow afternoon for race 4. A glorious springtime Saturday afternoon here at the Marco Simoncelli circuit for the second of 4 races, the 13th season of the Italian Formula 4 Championship, presented by the Automobile Club of Italy together with WSK Promotion, as it has been since Lance Stroll took the inaugural title for the Prema Racing Team back in 2014. Lining up on the grid, Lucas Samalisto from Tampere in Finland. For the German team here on Italy's Adriatic coast, great qualifying performance from David Walter for the Swiss Matthew Racing Team. Former WSK champion is David Walter. Inside third row of the grid in car 83. Just pulls to the right of your screen behind David Cosman Christopher, DCC from Bucharest in Romania, who took a stunning pole position at Vallelunga last year in his rookie season. Incidentally, that's where we go in 2 weeks' time for round 2 to Long Valley, north of the Eternal City of Rome, for the second round of this year's series. 31 cars lining up, 48 entries, a record-breaking season. You look at the second-generation racer, Becco Bernardi, for the Trident Motorsport team, who along with Alfa 54, just behind, there is Palatini. 2 new teams joining us for 2026. There is Focazza. Samalisto on pole here at Misano. For the second time this weekend, we race. Lucas storms off the line and gets a perfect start as Robinson, who got a blinder this morning, tries to repeat, slots into P4. Going wide is the first of the Prema Racing drivers, either Aksoy or Cosman Christopher. Up into the Rio Curse for the first time, Samalisto already with a great start. There's Robinson on the outside. Here's David Walter. Bondarev in car 27. Finished on the podium this morning, did the Williams Jr. in his second year of Formula 4 racing. As the field go down the back straight for the first time. There is Rodriguez, a great start for the American in car 40 for Cram Motorsport. But Samalisto already after just half a lap with a storming start. Look at the lead from the Finn back to DCC. Robinson in third. It was Aksoy who went wide but has recovered into fourth place. Make that third. Aksoy down the inside of Robinson. There's Pedro Lima for the Amersfoort Racing Team. Fighting there with Repetto, Alexander Ruto as well. Already 1 second between Samalisto and David Cosma Christopher. Prowling on the outside. In car 62, David Walter right in the mix as well. So a relatively clean start for the second of 4 races here this weekend. Bondarev on the outside and goes wide. Bondi's off the road. Brings it back on track. Just loses the single position. It could have been a lot worse. He's still right in this traffic. And look at Walter for the Matthew Racing Team. best qualifying performance for the Swiss team. Qualifying P4 in his group yesterday. He comes across the line at the end of lap 1 in position 6 behind Ludovico Busso. Ahead of Bondarev, Crowley, Kilian, and Badr El Solati.
Ads.
There is contact there. Alexander Ruta just clipping the bollards on the inside of the circuit. And you can see the pole has lost the front wing. That car will be undrivable. That is hugely disappointing for Alexander Ruta, who drops down the order, losing speed. He will have to pit. We stay green for the second of 4 races here this weekend as the cloud cover starts to roll in. And the front wing, wow, that was dangerous. If Ruta goes flying off the side of the road, may render the car somewhat more drivable as you look at Walter from Bondarev, Kralling, and the Australian Noah Kilian, the Sydney sider, ahead of the Qatari Badr El Solati, who had a brilliant first race this morning. There's just a few moments ago. Walter's sideways coming out of the Rio curves as Ruta loses the front wing. And Behrman goes on by. Thomas, who had a great drive from 16th to 7th this morning. This is Axel on the back of Robinson, who jumped around from teams and championships last year. Some races with us racing in the Italian F4 Series, some Spanish races, also raced in Euro Cup, Formula 3 and Formula Regional. But this year, the British Spaniard in P3 for the German team of Gerhard Unger on your team in P3. He's got Aksoy, this morning's race winner behind Robinson, ready to race in fight for the title in 2026. Further down the order, though, this has just happened. Georgi Zashov facing the wrong way. Forgatsa is in there as well. And Dominic Shimak, just a local yellow only for the moment. This is Alexander Ruta down in pit lane. The Van Amersfoort racing team go to work. A new front wing. We stay green for the moment. Alexander Ruta will rejoin, staying on the same lap. We'll be praying for a safety car. But at the moment, we stay green. That incident between Forgatsa, the Brazilian rookie, Georgi Zashov, and the Czech, Dominic Shimak, drops them way down to the bottom of the field. Alexander Ruta has just left pit lane now. We stay green as Lucas Samalisto continues to lead 1 second. The Finn from the Romanian, Robinson in third. The safety car does come out. Wow, that does save Alexander Ruta. The Van Amersfoort driver has just rejoined. It's been a disastrous start. Also for Kenzo Craigie, who's way down in P27. Dominic Shimak has also made a quick pit stop and has rejoined. This is Forgatsa, the Brazilian rookie. And this is Georgi Zashov. Jensen Motorsport team go to work, but there may be more damage than can be repaired in this 25-minute plus 1 lap race. So the order is Samalisto. It was 1.1 seconds back to David Cosmo Cristobal. Untouchable in qualifying. The Finn, who will certainly be a favourite for this year's title. Us Racing, of course, they won the championship in 2023 with the pole, Kasper Stuka. Cosmo Cristobal, his second year as well. Third and final year in Formula 4 for the 18-year-old Finn, Lucas Samalisto. You look at Pedro Lima go through. He's had a good start behind Badr El Solati and Thomas Behrman. And at the second rookie, the first Kiwi, Oscar Repetto, Nicolas Cortes, and Augusto Toniolo, ahead of Michelini. So a quick safety car intervention. Shimak, Ruta have rejoined way down at the bottom of the circuit, or the field, I should say. Ruta has just come across the start-finish line now, desperate to catch up to the back of the pack. Forgatsa, the Brazilian rookie, first Italian race here this weekend for Fabrizio from Sao Paulo, has just rejoined. He's gone a lap down. But remember, there are 11 drivers who will not even make the final race tomorrow afternoon. Unfortunately, one of them will be Alex Chartier. As you can see, the lights on the safety car are out. We will race next time round. The Canadian injured his hand in a violent crash this morning. May be fractured and unraceable condition this weekend. Oscar Repetto in P13 in car 6. The second rookie, Lucas Samalisto, car 7. The Finn for the US Racing team, Cosmo Christopher from Bucharest in Romania in second place. Robinson, also for the US Racing team in P3.
So Sonalisto will control the pace, and we go back to Green Flag Racing here at Misano. The drivers now look, file their way down towards the final corner. Lucas Sonalisto puts down the power, and it's pedal to the metal, and it's go, 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 go for the Italian F4 Championship. And here, look now, making their run down towards turn number 1. Lucas Sonalisto there. David Crossman Christopher following in behind. As 3 wide there, that's Ascoy and Idru Robertson looking around the outside there. Robertson keeps the position for now. Now towards turn 2 and turn 3. The drivers will go pound their way over the curb and ripple strip. There, look, is Thomas Behrman looking up the inside there. Can he get that move done? I think he possibly can. There, look, that's up the inside of Krellick. Can he get the move done? No, he can. No, he can't. As he gets forced way up the curb there, does Krellick. Bussard has just dropped down 3 positions on our timing screens here, but so far so good. Lucas Samalisto leads out in front there as he breaks on the curb on the ripple strip there on the inside there. Look now, way up the inside.
Sydney on the outside of the driver from Cologne in Germany. Ian Kralik, we saw him race in WSK World Karting, was super quick at times. He's on the outside. Thomas looking for room on the outside. And the second of the 3 Behrmans goes on through. He had a storming start this morning, and now Thomas goes into P9, gets the slipstream as they go down the back straight behind Bussard, Raleigh and Bombardier. Thomas on the outside will run out of road. Just ahead, this is Ludovico Bussard behind Ian Kralik. Thomas goes wide. Behrman's off the road. Brings it back on track. Just behind is his Brazilian teammate Pedro Lima, but there Al Salati goes on ahead. Behrman, Thomas in 87, Pedro in 53, and then the Kiwi, Oscar Repetto. Walter sideways in spectacular fashion. Rides the ripple strip coming onto the straight. David Walter, desperate for a strong result in this year's championship. Driving for the Swiss Mafia Racing team in P5. Robinson 4, Axoy 3rd, Cosmo Christopher still in 2nd place, but the gap already up to 0.7 of a second. Luca leads at Samalisto. Back to the Romanian. And now Baxoy in 3rd place. Walter from Bondarev. We've seen them go wheel to wheel over the last, half decade, if not more, in WSK World Karting. WSK Supermaster Series champion is Bondarev. Walter, multiple WSK race winner. European champion from Ukraine behind. He's on the outside but gets the momentum. Walter's in trouble here. They go up to Tramonto corner. Literally translates to Sunset corner, which it soon will to here at Misano. Tucked in right behind the German Ian Kralik. So this is some list of Cosmo Christopher, Axoy, Robinson, Bondanet just ahead. Off the road in the background, one of the Van Amersfoort racing drivers does well to bring it back on track. That was Alexander Ruta, who has rejoined after that pit stop. Al Salati on the inside of Behrman. And Pedro Lima do Brasil. Al Salati Padea, 2nd year in the Italian Formula 4 Championship, supported by the Qatari Motorsport Federation, together with the Swiss Jensen Motorsport team, has had a super start to 2026. Again, Walter goes wide to Kralik, Buzo, and the Qatari Padea. Samalisto, 0.9 of a second clear of Cosmo Christopher, goes wide up into turn 1. Does Padea Al Salati, trying to attack the Sicilian Ludovico Buzo, Ian Kralik, and at the same time defend from the Australian champion, Noah Killian. Car 7, P1, Lucas Samalisto from Tampere in Finland. Pole position yesterday, as we said in our introduction, almost 0.3 of a second clear at 1:35.492. to take pole position 24 hours ago. So they go down into La Huerta. Killian is 13. Thomas just behind. That's Behrman from Pedro Alves. Roberto Cortes. Albaxoy inheriting the race victory this morning. He was the top rookie. But Nicolo Macagnani with a post-race penalty drops down the field. So Albaxoy did not stand on the top step of the podium, but will be declared as the race winner. Walter on the outside is about to lose the place to the German. Ian Crowley goes racing up the inside. Just behind, Ludovico Bussol will fire it down the inside as well. Or maybe not, it goes wide, can't hold it. Walter still holding on for the Muffy Racing team. Took a victory recently at the Red Bull Ring in the Central European Zone Championship. And coming to Italy full of confidence is GW. Car 83
How are you?
from Busso, Al Salati, Behrman, Killian. Remember, points came down to 15th place in 2026. As Al put in a 36.391. The gap's still 1 second though, 9/10 from Luca, who controls the pace. Back to David Cosma Christopher. Albaxoy. This is DCC in P2 from Bucharest in Romania.
I've been getting ready for
Going
F1
down
the
into
last
the
couple of
Quercia.
weeks. Last week.
We see Kralik just ahead. Incidentally, Forcazza has just served that drive-through penalty further back in the pack. Trying to carve back through the field.
Been trying to get timing. Been trying to get timing sheets and all that sort of stuff ready. So yeah, been fun. Been good.
We see Toniolo behind Cortez. Ahead of Michelini. Westcott, Payton. She's ahead of Luba Roykov, Rodriguez. Petro down the inside of Petro. Lima loses the place to the Kiwi. Michelini, the Costa Rican. Head of the Californian, Peyton Westcott. This is Fade Al Salati. Again, driving brilliantly here this weekend. In the points, in P9. Remember, we are paying points right down to 15th place, which is still only approximately 1/3 of the field. Given that we've got 48 entries for round 1 of the 13th season of the Italian F4 Championship. So Samuelisto comes across the line to complete lap 9 in P1. Gap 1.1 seconds. Back to Cosmo Christopher. You can see it is not nearly as bright as it was this morning. Still a warm afternoon here on Italy's Adriatic coast at the home of the San Marino MotoGP. Samuelisto, Cosmo Christopher, Axoy, Robinson, Bombardier in P5. Incidentally, the rookie race, Alp in P1. Roberto Oscar in P12. That's the second rookie. And Augustus Toniolo, third on the rookie podium at the moment, just ahead of the Costa Rican, Evan Michelini. The gap still 1.1 seconds as we go almost into the final third.
Opinions on Lewis. Do you think that Lewis, one of the greatest drivers, or was he good? But additionally, he had a top car with
Robinson just a slight
I had a feeling it was a bit of both. I feel like Lewis was good, but also had a good car. He was a good driver, but also had a good car. I think if he didn't have a good car, the field would have been so much more closer back then. It's completely different this year. Though Ferrari have shafted him a lot. Like last year, he was shafted a lot. Even this year, sort of. Like even Miami qualifying, he wasn't doing the best. So yeah. If he stayed at Mercedes, though, he would have been winning. He would have won an 8th World Championship this year.
Spectacular from David Walter. Absolutely throwing car 83 around. He's dropped down to 7th, though. Kralik has got by. And now behind the Dane is Ludovico Busso, Al Salati, and Thomas Behrman, despite going wide earlier on, is still in P10 from Killian. Roberto, the second rookie, Pedro Alves, Cortez, Toniolo, in the final points paying position. We're almost into qualifying times, almost into the 135s. As Cosmo Christopher with a 136.114. The gap down to 0.8 of a second. Al Salati, that's Behrman. Noah Killian, the Australian champion, as we say, with the AGI Sport team, who were in action last week. 17 cars on the grid, incidentally, at Winton for the first round of the AU4 Championship, the title which Noah won last year.
Which, by the way, I
based at
streamed,
Sydney
so...
Motorsport Park, formerly known as Eastern Creek. Luca in P1. Well, the German team of Ralf Schumacher and Gerhard Unger, they took the title with the pole Kasper Stuka in 2023. They certainly have more than one contender.
Yeah, I also think it was second field, so weird if he would have been in Merc this year, would have been his year. I feel like Rosberg was pretty good. Yeah, Rosberg sort of carried him. Sort of. I say that sort of. Until Lewis became good.
US Racing, that's Unger, Schumacher, inside the top 10. Robinson goes through. This is Bondarev. Crowley. Walter again fights the steering wheel. He's throwing it around like a WRC rally car here at Misano. Still Behrman trying to go by the Qatari. Thomas, at the same time, has to defend from Noah Gillian. Just the one retirement. That was Georgi Zashoff, who was out on the third lap of the race. 30 still in it. Desperate to get points and make it through to the final tomorrow afternoon. As Thomas locks up the inside left going into turn 8. And now down into Tramonto. Into Sunset Corner. Behrman, the Englishman from the Australian. The Qatari just ahead. That was Andrea Rodriguez going on by. Fighting with Luka Roykov, Michelini just behind. Good recovery from Alexander Ruta, who had to pit for a new front wing. Great work from the Van Amersfoort Racing team. They've got their Polish driver back out. He was down into second to last position, but currently in P21 from Bernoldi, Cotti, Ferreira, Palatini for the Alpha 54 team.
I mean, I didn't...
Another rookie, Gender.
Rosberg beat Lewis Hamilton.
Dominic Schumacher also returned. And Forcazza on his debut, the Brazilian.
Good point.
Just serving that stop and go.
Yeah, he did.
That drive through.
I'll give
a couple of laps ago. Luca, this race is the Finns to win.
Yep, he
did. Controlling the pace nicely. Al Paxoy on your screen. An outstanding debut to his Italian F4 Championship. Of course, he won the Formula 4 trophy in the United Arab Emirates. Cosmo Christopher in second place. Not only is Al and his parents, and in fact half of Turkey, celebrating his victory here this morning and a potential podium here this afternoon. They've been telling us all weekend how excited they are that the FIA Formula 1 World Championship will be back in Istanbul from 2027. Not only that, but more imminently for young Al is also the FIA Formula 3 and Formula 2 Championship will be racing in Istanbul for at least the next 5 years from 2027.
That's
Al
happening.
Third. Cosmo Christopher, the gap down to 0.6 of a second.
He's in the wrong team.
Into the final 5 minutes plus 1 lap.
And he probably should have retired.
Battle between the
The man's got nothing left in him.
And the Premal Racing team, it rages on.
I feel like if he was in a better team, he'd be... It sounds weird to say it, but Alonso in Ferrari, it doesn't sound right, but I feel like that should be the seat for Alonso. Or if he doesn't go to Ferrari, or if he didn't want to go to Ferrari, retire. I don't know why people like him so much. I mean, he comes almost last every race with Stroll. Yeah, he's like the second Stroll.
Raced in the British Formula 4 Championship and also the European or the E4 Championship, which is back once again in 2026. 3 rounds, the E4 Challenge.
Very good. Getting copyrighted.
championship, which was
Alonso was one time in Ferrari back then. He was? Oh yeah, he was.
Former team
Oh yeah.
trying to catch the race leader, Luca Samalisto. The team from Gricignano, Vicenza, not too far from Venice, in second and third. The team from Cologne in Germany, first and fourth, with Luca and Ed. Robinson has pulled away from Bondarev. That gap is 2.2 seconds.
So yeah, Samalisto leading out in front here. 0.8 of a second. The margin back to Costa. And then, of course, Ascoi, who yellow flag is out. And I think that's Kilgrani, who is off the road. The 13 car off the road. Yellow flag has been pulled as we head down to pit lane.
We had 3 championships. We participated in 3 championships. And Frank had 3 and 2. And we decided to start also in F4 to have the possibility to take the drivers from the beginning of their career, starting from the car. Well, I had some doubts about that because to have a so young driver, 15 years old, with the mother and the father together is well, is a big challenge.
Thank you.
I think Dilara Kohler there down in the pit lane. So that yellow flag has cleared with less than minute and 50 seconds to go. We should get a replay in just a few moments' time as there. Look, moving left right as he tries to dude, genuine question. Does every car matter that a lot? Dude, like every fucking team has a lot of money. Red Bull, Ferrari, Aston Martin still they vary so much. Like Alonso world champion is coming last, exactly. Aston Martin have so much money and their car continues to fail. Interesting. Rafael Ferreira, the F1 Academy driver, their track limits abuse warning flag. Like, how can world champion become last? Exactly. How can a world champion come last every race? It's the team he's in. It's the team he's in. If he's not, it's the team. It's the team he's in. It's not him. It's the team he's in, I feel. I could be wrong, but I feel like it's the team Alonso is in that is affecting his performance. I could be wrong. 50 seconds to go left in this one, so 25 minutes plus 1 lap. We've ticked down through that 25 minutes. Look, Lucas Samalisto, your current race leader. Of course, brand new chassis for the F4 Championship coming into 2026. But yeah, I feel like if Alonso wasn't in this Aston Martin car, he'd be in such a better position. They like, the Honda engine, awful. Disgusting. The car is awful. Aston Martin, as you said, Aston Martin, Red Bull, and Ferrari have all this money, and it doesn't seem like they're doing anything with it. They're not upgrading their car. Aston Martin aren't upgrading anything, and they still expect to be somewhere, which is strange. And yet they have one crap driver that doesn't know how to do anything, and one driver that's in the wrong seat and can't do anything with his car. That's my point of view on it. That's what I'm saying. And that's literally what I'm saying. Lucas Samalisto now this time around will cross the line. And I think this time around, might start the final lap of the race. There we go. Confirmation on our race control timing screens. Final lap of the race. Of course, we do have race 3 coming up within the next 20 minutes. Even after so much, they couldn't make a normal car. Maybe like Haas or something. Just talk about it. Exactly. Aston Martin had this chance to make a quick car, and actually coming into the back end of 2025, I was thinking to myself, Aston Martin are gonna be the team to beat. They're gonna be probably one of the team to beat. But then you come to Australia and they can't even make lap 1 of the race. So it just sort of showed their performance. But funnily enough, this is the second time coming into this season that Aston Martin have finished a race. The second time only that they've finished a race. It is insane. Lucas Samalisto now making his run down towards sunset corner on this circuit, which of course the sun will be setting here in Misano very, very shortly. Race number 3. Sorry, the sun is actually currently rising, must I say. So the sun rising here in Misano. Trying to get my time zones correct. So we do have race 3 not too far away. Yeah, I saw second time. I actually saw it on an Instagram thing. Lucas Salmonesto now making his run round the final corner. And for the first time here in 2026, Lucas Salmonesto will cross the line first once more. Lucas Salmonesto, the Argentinian driver, takes the win in the second race of the Italian F4 Championship. What a race that was. David Cosma-Christopher in second, and then winning the rookie race, it is Ascoi. So Lucas Salmonesto there taking that one as, I'll write that down for the upcoming season. And of course, we do have Ascoi, who won the rookie race as well. Lucas Salmonesto scored an extra 2 points, like we do have it in Italian F4, for a fastest lap of the race. So giving these drivers that extra chance to score more points. But yeah, what a race that was. Yeah, so second time this season. Yeah, so yeah, not bad. And for the first time this season, sorry, for Lucas Salmonesto, that he has, yes, first time this season, he has scored a pole because, top step of the podium, because of course he did not get it in race number 1. But yeah, what a race that was. What a race. Unlike race 1, not Prema domination, it was more or less RHGP domination. So we could see, for the team's championship this year, a bit of an RHGP versus Prema championship. But then yet again, you do have Venom MS4 and ARTGP joining this year as well. Along with Achi Sport as well, with Noah Killian, who was, of course, last year's Australian F4 champion. So it's good. Australia's a crazy F1 enthusiast in a good way. Exactly. It's good to see Lucas Salmonesto top of the podium over David Cosma-Christopher, Alp Ascoi, Edward Robertson, and then, of course, Alexander Bondarev, Arjen Kraling, the German driver. And then we run down the field, Oscar Rapeto, the Australian driver, Australian-New Zealand driver. Pedro Alves Lamina, the Brazilian driver. Kenzo Craigie, Nicolas Cortez, another Brazilian driver. Tonilo. Continue to run down the field. Evan Michelli, Emily Cotti, Raffaella Freire, Vitao Orsani, the Italian driver. And of course, like always, I butcher most of these names, so not ideal. In the championship standings, Alp Ascoi, the Chinese driver, leading the top over Alexander Bondarev, Arjun Kraling, and Lucas Salmonesto, of course, moved himself up to P5 with that win. David Walter, of course, sits in P11. What, Bottas? You just take a name of Bottas. You just took a name of Bottas. I did. Did I just take Bottas's name? Whoops. Yeah. Speaking of Bottas, what's your thoughts on Cadillac? Well, whilst we're talking about Bottas. I don't know why Bottas Cadillac doesn't really have connections. In a way, it does. Sort of doesn't. But yeah, what's your thoughts on Cadillac coming into this season? I feel like they've probably outperformed themselves there. Lucas Salmonesto stands on the top step of the podium and is very happy with that one. Very, very happy indeed. Now makes his way over to his team. Got the RHGP coloured suit on and will score more points in the constructors for themselves. So very good job there, Lucas Salmonesto. Their Lookie's engineer now giving him to exactly what he needs to do. As there's David Cosma-Christopher passing on screen, gets himself weighed. And make sure, of course, you have to stay on weight as well. Can't be a kilo over, otherwise you, of course, do get a penalty. Yeah, dude, Bottas, you have seen James. It's very true. It is. There, look, Lucas Summerlisto, as we now take a look at a replay there. Look, David Cosmo Christopher, way out the curb as this race now comes to an end. Not too far away, actually, from race number 3. Few amazing shots of the cameraman here this weekend. Mugello absolutely packed with all those support categories. We've got the Italian GT Championship here this weekend. We've got the TCR World Tour. So loads and loads of categories here this weekend. We've even got the Italian F4 Championship.
After a very well managed race.
Yeah, it feels really good. I think we worked really hard for this, and we finally made it until the end. So really happy about it. Also, we have tomorrow 2 more races, and one of them we will start still for pole, and hopefully also for the last one. So we'll see how things work out. But yeah, really happy with this race one, and can't wait for tomorrow also. Thank you.
Amazing job there from Luca Summerlisto. There you can see, look there in the background, the Italian GT cars getting ready to make their way out onto the circuit. So I think they've got qualifying next. As now, time for the highlights.
Start Al Baxoy better than this morning. Got off the line nicely. Ed Robinson again launched from the second row of the grid, but had nowhere to go. There were red and white cars in between himself and his teammate. Luca Summerlisto racing away to an early lead as Bondarev went wide. Did recover though to come home P5. Walter throwing the Matthew racing car around. Alexander Ruta losing the front wing. Georgi Zashoff with too much damage and was out as Folkartzer with a drive-through penalty. The safety car eroded the 1.2 second lead of Luca Summerlisto. Thomas Behrman fighting race long mainly with his Qatari adversary. Badea Al-Salati finally got through to P9 in the dying stages. Walter fighting with Bondarev. It was a replay of what we've seen for the past decade in WSK World Karting, back on track with a new front wing. Alexander Ruta into the gravel, does recover, but it was Luca Summerlisto who takes victory here at Misano. Fastest lap of the race on his final tour. The Finn for the German racing team wins race 2 of the Italian F4 Championship here at Misano this afternoon.
So yeah, what a weekend this has been so far for Luca Summerlisto. We're going to wrap the stream there, though. In approximately 2 minutes, I will be back for the start of race number 3 for the Italian F4 Championship. So, for race 3 for these guys, of course, this was streamed yesterday. So, we've now got race 3 coming up in just a few moments' time. But podium celebrations underway. As there, look. Up Ascoy on the 3rd step of the podium. David Cosmo Christopher, the German driver, sits 2nd. And Luca Summerlisto on the top step of the podium as well. And of course the RSGP team as well coming out to celebrate. There is the Achi Sport ambassador making his way out onto the podium to hand, of course, the podium's out, flipping it, the trophies out to all the competitors. And will now celebrate in fine fashion and get to do it all again, actually in just a few moments' time. I would say tomorrow, but you don't get that. So, there we go. So, Misano continues to put on a show here this weekend. The Italian F4 Championship, race number 2, done and dusted. So, that was Group A and Group B, battling off. And, of course, now, in just a few moments' time, we'll be back for Group A and Group C, which should be quite interesting as well. So, this one, of course, will be live. And it's time now for race 3. Let's see who's fast enough as we get ready for the finale of race number 4 this weekend. We'll be back in just a few minutes' time as we get ready for race 3.